Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. Today, we will go through the steps of how to introduce new fishes to your aquarium in detail. A common problem people have when they purchase new fishes for their aquarium is that they may die in several days or weeks due to them not being able to adjust to the new water and environment. Today, we will introduce the safest and easiest way to allow new fishes to fully adjust to your aquarium, which should be especially helpful for beginners. So, we will be using an actual brand new fish to take you through these steps in order. The first thing to note is that, as you can probably imagine, allowing the new fishes to properly adjust is an extremely important process. Many people think or imagine that if the adjustment process does not go well, the fishes die right away, but that's not exactly true. Most cases where these steps are not followed correctly, new fishes inside your aquarium die over the course of several days or up to 1 or 2 weeks. Even at our stores, we often hear stories about new fishes or shrimp that pass away in a week or two, even in an aquarium that has been healthy and maintained for over a year. Of course, it is not 100% clear that all of the deaths were caused by the lack of adjustment, but it is a common trait that is found when the adjustment procedures are not followed correctly. So this can actually lead to a pretty significant damage to your aquarium, even for the existing animals and plants inside it. So today, we will go through the correct and easiest steps to adjusting your fishes to the water inside your aquarium in order to prevent these accidents from happening. So now let's get right into it. This is a pretty common way the stores would pack your new fishes. There is more than enough oxygen inside this bag for the fishes to stay alive and breathe for a while. However, if you release the fishes inside your aquarium right away, it will create a form of shock inside the fish's body, which will eventually cause the fishes to die either right away or in several days. It's the same thing for humans. When we jump into a cold swimming pool or a hot bath on a cold day, it puts a lot of stress on our body, and your heart will most likely be pumping really fast. So the difference between the water inside the bag and that of the aquarium can inevitably implement a lot of pressure and stress on the fish's body. So, in order to prevent that from happening, you must take some time for the fishes to gradually adjust and get used to the new environment. You would think that in terms of temperature, the aquariums inside stores and the ones in your house should be around the same. But changes can happen while you transport them, as well as the water quality and pH levels could be totally different. So this is a process that is absolutely necessary. So the first step is to float the bag with your new fish inside your aquarium for about 30 minutes. This will make the temperature almost equal to that of your aquarium. Next, we move the new fish with the water inside a bucket. After your fishes have moved inside your bucket, you place it nicely under the aquarium, and next you'll be using this tube to transfer the water. This tube is the same as ones that you'll use for aeration or to pump CO2, so you can most likely use one that you already have. Then, we're going to use this lever to adjust the amount of water that flows out of the tube. So now, you're going to apply the tube inside your aquarium and the bucket, and you can also use U-shaped pipes or some sort of tool that will allow you to place your tube firmly onto the aquarium without you having to hold onto it the entire time. If you do not have any of these equipment already and you would need to buy each one individually, you can also look into these water changing packages that come with the basic tools that are necessary for the procedures we will be going through today. So these could come in handy too. I'll leave a link in the description below for anyone who is interested. So first of all, you place one end of the tube inside your aquarium and you open the lever fully for now. Then you suck some air out of the other end to allow the water to flow out automatically, and you close the lever to the speed that you want your water to flow out. Leaving it fully open could be a bit too fast, and I personally like to leave it flowing at around this speed. One important thing to be careful of is the difference in pH level and the hardness between the water inside the bucket and the existing water inside the aquarium. Usually, the pH level of aquariums inside aquarium stores are kept at a relatively low rate for various reasons. If, for example, your aquarium at home is set to a high pH level due to your layout materials, you need to be careful when transferring new fish, as a new environment with a higher pH level can cause a lot of stress and damage to your fish's body. Thus, if this applies to your aquarium, I would be extra careful when transferring your water and fishes by opening up the lever only a little bit, and you could take a bit more time than usual. On the other hand, transferring from a place of high pH level to a lower pH level environment is not that much of a hurdle, so the process should be much easier. So I would only watch out if your layouts at home include layout materials that raise the pH level, such as Rio stones and other rocks. One other situation to watch out for is if you are executing these procedures in the wintertime. If your room or your house is very cold, the temperature of the water inside the bucket will also inevitably become lower. Although you somewhat balance the temperature at first by floating the bag inside the tank, the temperature will become lower pretty fast when placed inside your bucket. So it is important to make sure to turn your heater on inside your room in order to maintain a consistent temperature inside your bucket. If it's physically difficult to raise the temperature of the room your aquarium is in, you could also place an aquarium heater inside your bucket. Also, if you only have CO2 pumping inside the aquarium but not inside the bucket, that could also create a difference in pH level, especially if you usually pump a large amount of CO2 in your water plants. As you know, CO2 can escape from the water pretty easily, so the water inside your bucket could eventually become a high pH level over time. To be extra cautious, it could be a good idea to complete these transfer procedures before you turn on your CO2 inside your aquarium. The next point is something I've heard that happens pretty often, is that depending on the type of fish, there is a chance that they will jump out of your tank while you are transferring your water. So, if your fishes are pretty active or tend to swim around the surface of your tank, I would place a lid or even a net to prevent any of them from escaping your tank or your bucket. This is actually a common episode that I've heard from various customers of our store, and it's something that you definitely would want to prevent. Lastly, because we are only transferring 3 small fishes this time, we can leave the water to transfer and adjust for around 30 to 40 minutes. But if by any chance you are trying to add 30 to 40 or even 50 fishes or shrimp to your aquarium at once, there's a possibility that there will not be enough oxygen inside the bucket. So I would insert aeration in the bucket just in case. Another story that I often hear and have experienced myself, believe it or not, is that you forget that you are actually in the midst of transferring the water and fishes. I know it may sound funny, but it's actually a common accident where you leave your room to do something else for 15 minutes into the transferring procedures and you completely forget and you come back to see the floor flooded with water. So just to be safe, I would make sure to put a timer on every time I go through these procedures. Believe me, this actually can happen pretty easily. One advice regarding the amount of water to transfer that I find is a fail-proof way to measure is when the water inside your bucket doubles from the time when you first open the bag with the new fishes, you drain the water back to the initial amount once. Then you let it increase again until it doubles for the second time, and by then the water in your bucket and your aquarium should be almost exactly the same. I feel like this is the most easy way to remember how much water to transfer until the quality is balanced. You double the water once, drain half of it, and then let it double again. Lastly, you only scoop up the fishes and place them inside your aquarium. It's important to note that you should not add the water inside the bucket to your aquarium, as the initial water inside your bucket could be dirty, or some stores also add certain chemicals that prevent any bacteria from damaging your fishes on your way home from the store. So just to be safe, only take the fishes from the bucket and add them to the aquarium. The full procedures that we went through today should take about 30 to 40 minutes. If you want to be extra careful for any of the reasons we mentioned today, I would look at about an hour in total. I think the part that could be the most difficult to grasp is the speed of the water flowing through the tube, but this could be mastered through experience, so I would just give it a couple tries and you'll most likely get the hang of it. So, to wrap this video up, we went through the procedures of properly adjusting your newly purchased fishes to your aquarium. Following these procedures will prevent your new fishes from weakening or dying in 1 or 2 weeks, which does happen a lot. These steps that we went through today are some of the most basic techniques to remember when starting an aquarium, but they are also some of the most essential and important at the same time. So it is really important to master these procedures, as it will create a significant difference in the longevity of both your aquarium and your fishes. If you have any additional questions or comments regarding any of the content that we discussed today, please feel free to write them in the comment section below. Although we may not be able to answer each question individually, we will create additional content based on the popular questions that we receive. If you found today's video helpful, please leave a comment, like, and make sure to subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. We will continue to create helpful content for aquarium lovers, so your continuous support would be very much appreciated. That's it for today. Thank you.